One evening I was in a restaurant in the magnificent old city of Istanbul with my dear Palestinian friend Ali. We were outside on the patio enjoying a nice fish dinner, and next to us was a table of 3 American women. A sudden rainstorm came up and forced us out of the patio. The restaurant staff quickly packed us all together in a small room upstairs, which wasn't even meant for dining. They put Ali and myself at the table with these 3 women. They seemed nice enough. I broke the ice by asking, "Where are you from?" "St. Louis, Missouri," they replied. I said, "Oh, that's funny. I'm from St. Louis, too." So immediately a bond was formed. We had something in common. I asked what part of the city they were from, and they gave me the name of a very wealthy Jewish suburb. I knew we were not from the same class of people. I was from the other side of the tracks. But we had a bond, nevertheless. Then they asked Ali where he was from. I held my breath. He didn't say Palestine. He didn't say Israel. He said, "I am from Jerusalem." The women were delighted because they thought they were dealing with one of their own, and immediately they struck up a spirited conversation. I could tell that they were quickly falling in love with Ali. During dinner, they asked me what I do for a living, and I told them I'm a priest. Their jaws dropped. They never dreamed they would be sitting at table with a Catholic priest. I could see in their eyes that they were a bit horrified at first, but then they seemed to make peace with it and think, well, maybe this one isn't so bad after all. Then they asked Ali when he did his Israeli military service. He told them he had not done it. They looked very puzzled and asked how this could be. It is obligatory after all. He said, "Because I am a Muslim." If you think the look on their face was bad when they found out I was a priest, you should have seen the look in their eyes at this point. It was a look of horror and confusion. Here was someone from a group that they had been taught by society to hate. Yet this was someone they had come to love before knowing who he was. There was confusion in their hearts for a few seconds. Then the faces changed, and they made peace with that too. We had all become friends because the prejudice had not gotten to us first. As I was walking home with Ali, I said to him, "You know, we changed those girls' lives tonight." "I know," he said. "I saw the look in their face, and I saw that they had come to peace with what was before them. They knew they were supposed to hate, but they had already begun to love." And now I said to him, "They will never again look upon other people in the same way. From now on, they will give people the benefit of the doubt and will not prejudge." We have enormous power to change people's attitudes. It was a wonderful evening for all of us, for the priest, for the Jewish girls, and for the Palestinian boy. Shouldn't the whole world be like that table? We see Jesus making a journey. He also was going to Jerusalem. He was going knowing what was in store for him there, the cross, pain, death, but he was going there nonetheless. On the way, many questions were put to him, trick questions. People were trying to trip him up, to find reasons to denounce him and to put him to death. Someone asked him a question, "Lord, will only a few people be saved?" A trick question. What they meant was, "Lord, is it only we who will be saved? You keep on insinuating that other people also belong to God's kingdom. That goes against what we have been taught. We believe that we are the only ones." As always, Jesus refuses to answer the trick question, but instead answers a far more important one. Not how many will be saved, But how can I be saved? He invites us then to go through the narrow gate. There may be gates, but Jesus invites us to go through the narrow one. He tells us not to think we can get through on the coattails of our ancestors or by observing hundreds of man-made rules. We have to get through that narrow gate. We are no different than the people he was speaking to. Sometimes we think that we can just show up with our baptismal certificate and say, "Here's my passport," or we show our perfect attendance record at Sunday Mass and say, "I fasted on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, so let me in." Jesus says that's not enough for the narrow gate. The narrow gate is the gate of love. Its narrowness is a good thing because you have something to support yourself on, unlike a wide gate where you can walk in all sorts of directions. The gate of love is just wide enough for any human being to fit through. Everyone except those whose heads have grown too big to pass through, too big with their own self-importance so that they do not see anyone else in need. If our head becomes too big, our heart becomes too small to love. It is only then that we cannot pass through that narrow gate of love. Jesus invites us to go through the narrow gate, or as an American poet, Robert Frost, put it, the road not taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as far as the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Jesus offers the road less traveled, the narrow gate. When all around you are going one way, you do not have to follow the crowd. It's okay to be different, to take the road less traveled, to go through the narrow gate when everyone else is trying to get through the wide one. Jesus himself took the road less traveled. Not many would have taken that road, knowing it was leading to the cross. Jesus took the road less traveled, and it took him to sick people. The laws of religion and society forbade him to cure on that day, but he did it anyway, because he was using the narrow gate, the gate of love, which trumps all rules. Jesus took the road less traveled by, and that road took him to a woman at a well, a woman he was not supposed to talk to, according to the dictates of religion and society. But because he was using the narrow gate, the road less traveled by, he dared to ignore the taboos. He dared to speak. He dared to care. He dared to love. Jesus took the road less traveled, and that road led him to a woman being stoned in accordance with the law of religion and society. Because he was taking the road less traveled by, because he chose the narrow gate, he did not pick up that stone, but said, "Let he who is without sin cast the first one." Jesus always took the road less traveled. Jesus always took the narrow gate of love. Perhaps the road of our life will lead us to places where everyone around us is judging, belittling, hating, casting out. If we take the road less traveled, if we take the narrow gate of love, we will also refuse to pick up that stone. Perhaps the road of life will lead us to places where the law of love demands that we too break the rules and cure on the Sabbath, that we too do something for someone that may clash with the taboos of religion and society. Perhaps we will find that the road less traveled is leading us to the cross. And just perhaps, when we arrive at the end of that road less traveled and enter through that narrow gate, we will find ourselves at a table with some Jewish women, a Palestinian boy, and maybe even a Catholic priest.